Now, livestock is the farm animal except for poultry. In Western nations, the classification develops basically cattle, sheep, pigs, goats, horses, donkeys and mules. Different creatures, for example, bulls, llamas or camels, may prevail in the farming or different zones. By the 21st century, livestock made up somewhat more than 1/9 of all vertebrate biomasses. Appraisal recommended that the mass of Earth's livestock, around 100 million metric tons, is more than that of humans, wild winged creatures and wild mammals in total. A concise treatment of livestock follows some individual species like bison, camel, cattle, cows, goats, horses, water wild, ox and yak. I will explain some important livestocks such as cattle. Cattle make up the biggest livestock bunch around the world. Among those noticeable in hamburger creation are Hereford, Shorthorn and Angus. The main dairy cattle breeds are Holstein, Friesian, Brown Swiss, Jersey, etc. Cattle feeds basically on field by nibbling. However, in current cultivating, their eating routine is conventionally enhanced with arranged creature takes care of. Cattle are here and there utilized as draft animal, especially in limited scope cultivating and in less created locales. Second important one is sheep. Sheep were among the main creatures to be trained maybe as right on time as 10,000 BCE. Approximately 200 varieties are perceived. Formerly identified with goats, sheep are raised principally for the down or fleece of their jackets, for meat, for example lamb and sheep, and less significantly for milk. Like cattle, sheep eat for their food, eating boughs, fine grasses and coarse and bushy weeds. Pigs, they have raised for their meat, basically pork. Since old occasions, there are in excess of 300 varieties around the world. In United States, the term horde is utilized for pig grazing in excess of 54 kilograms. And the creatures paying little heed to raise are ordered for promoting purposes as fat, bacon or pork type, the grease type being heaviest. Corn is normally the essential feed for the pigs, in spite of the fact that wheat, oats and grains are frequently remembered for their eating routine. Another important livestock is considered goats. Goats are raised for their milk and its side effects and for meat, stows away and fleece. The various varieties comprises 3 significant gatherings: the prickerd, example in Switzerland, the eastern and the fleece, example Angora, which is also known as mohair. Goats eat field grasses, hay or different roughages and feeds produced using grains. The next important livestock are horses. Horses, first seriously tamed in Central Asia, are reared as livestock as well as for riding, show and hustling. As livestock, ponies are utilized for ranch work or for riding, the last particularly on huge cattle farms. The various varieties might be characterized by spot of causes, for example Arabian by the chief use or riding draft, or by outward appearances like a light substantial horse. Ponies feed on grass and other field development, and their weight control plans are typically enhanced with roughness, grains and other nutritive feeds. Another important livestock are donkeys. These are additionally called asses and donkeys, and the crossover framed by crossbreeding a male jackass and a female pony are utilized as work animal on numerous ranches. Sure-footed and solid, they are regularly utilized as seat mounts also. In India, it is very prevalent. Livestock farming is another important component of farming next to crop farming. It is an anciently essential part of human social, economic and cultural fabric and well-being. Its significance has been grown not only for the pastoral economies and mixed farming systems, but also for the entire globe food and industrial economy. It provides concentrated quality food of high nutrition value, example meat and milk products which are growing in demands with rising family and personal incomes. Livestock farming is basically the administration and rearing of home ground. Livestock or livestock to acquire their meat and items such as milk, eggs and so on. It can likewise be portrayed as the financial action that includes raising home-grown creatures for human utilization and acquiring meat, milk, fleece, hides, nectar, among others. Livestock farming is one of the most seasonal financial exercise of men begun by early men. It ensures food supply, stores away skins, bones, milk and other creatures' items without going to the backwoods to chase. Livestock farming is a fundamental action in the advancement of mankind and keeps on involving a conspicuous spot among the essential exercise of the world economy. It creates top-notch food items, for example, meat, egg, milk, and so on. Other nearby financial areas advantage straightforwardly or in roundabout way from its action: food handling business, handicraft, the travel industry, and accommodation. The next benefit is one of only a handful few humans beneficial financial exercise that are genuinely feasible. Apart from that, it creates business opening and fills in as a type of revenue. It can likewise fill in as a diversion for certain individuals. It can assist a nation with creating unfamiliar trade profit through the fare of livestock items. This will additionally fortify the nearby money stream. Greater animal, for example, cattle, pony and jackass can be utilized for some unique ranch task, for example, furrowing, nerve-wracking and even load animals. So there are different types of livestock farming system that are differentiated by the production process that take place in each of them. The first one is known as intensive livestock farming. Intensive livestock farming is one in which the animals are housed with adequate temperatures, feed and health care necessary for the production of animal to be healthy and faster. In this system, the selection of breeds is made for different types of production. It is both capital and labor intensive. The second one is known as semi-intensive livestock. Farming semi-intensive livestock is one in which the animals are housed and fed, but are allowed to graze or move around the farm to scavenge within an enclosed area within the farm area. The third one is known as extensive livestock farming. Extensive livestock farming is one that is carried out on large areas of land, such as meadows, pastures or mountains, so that animals graze and take advantage of the natural resources of its various areas. It is usually carried out with animals that are adapted to the type of field to which they are intended to take. This system promotes the conservation of ecosystem. The fourth one you may be aware of, that is known as nomadic livestock farming. This farming is characterized by grazing of animal like cattle on a large expanse of land so that they have a natural diet. In this system, the animals are taken to different land to eat various foods and resources. This type of livestock farming is known as nomadic or semi-nomadic. It is typical of people who live in arid areas where cultivation is difficult to carry out, as in some territories in Africa and Asia. The next one, that is known as transhumant livestock farming. The transhumant livestock farming is one in which the animals are moved to areas whose fields have food depending on the season on the year. The livestock farming system is very advantageous because it increases the fertility of the soil thanks to the manure of the cattle. The animals feed on various grasses and vegetables and contribute to dispersal of seeds, among others. So, there is also a biological factor related to this type of farming. At the moment, the transhumant cattle's range is little practiced. However, it is still carried out in various areas of Africa. Organic livestock farming. Now, what is organic livestock farming? Organic livestock farming is a livestock production system with the aim of obtaining the highest quality food without using synthetic chemicals such as pesticides, chemical fertilizers, etc. In addition, animals need a large space and feed on natural products. Nomadic herding is an ecological or near ecological system of agriculture. It is carried on mainly to produce food for the family and to fulfill the needs of clothing, shelter and recreation. It is the simplest form of pastoralism. The nomadic herds are dependent on sheep, cattle, goat, camel, horses and reindeers for their livelihood. Herds composition varies from one region to another, but throughout the dry belt, sheep and goats are the most common animal and cattle are the least common as they do not like hot and arid climates. The length of stay of nomads at one place and the direction of their movements are governed by the availability of water and natural forage. The nomads and herds houses are generally tent which can be transported easily. The arid and semi-arid areas of the world, from the shores of Atlantic in Africa to the steppes of Mongolia, have been occupied by pastoral nomads for the last more than 3,000 years. At present, it is mainly concentrated in Sahara Africa, different countries such as Chad, Sudan, Libya, Algeria, and the southwestern and central parts of Asia, the northern parts of the countries such as Norway, Sweden, Finland, and northern Canada. All these areas are sparsely populated. Owing to the non-availability of water, these areas are unsuitable for the cultivation of crops, but the people are utilizing these ecosystems for rearing or grazing of livestock. Livestock refers to the animals that are considered an asset. This can be that they are used to produce commodities such as food and clothing. Livestock animals include poultry, cattle and fish. Ranch is known as cattle breeding establishment in North America, but it has become a more common term for a farm or station where animals are bred. There may be a mink ranch or reindeer ranch. Ranching is the act of running a ranch, which is essentially an extensive farm for the sole purpose of raising livestock and crops. So, livestock ranching is a modern development of livestock production as a highly scientific, managed, commercially enterprise. Products range over several special products like beef and veal from cattle, mutton and lamb, or wool and hair from sheep or hides and skins, etc. Ranches are usually owned by a single family, and raising and harvesting of livestock and crops constitute its livelihood. Modern ranches are equipped with a ranch house, dipping wets, cattle sheds, feed, stores, horse storage houses, etc. Ranches may be various sized estates of 100 to few hundred or thousands of hectares of land. One estate in Australia measures 30,000 kilometers square. The first evidence of livestock ranching was observed between 8,000 to 10,000 years ago during nomadic times, and continues to be a primary source of food today. It became especially popular in the 19th century in Western Europe, the northeastern United States and other areas of predominantly European settlement. Now it is found all over the world, especially in South America, the Western United States, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, South Island and South Africa. Livestock ranching is and has historically been more prominent in wealthier countries, as meat is often viewed as a luxury due to complexity of the production process as opposed to harvesting vegetables, which is a much simple and more straightforward process. This is why livestock ranching was most prominent in areas of European settlement and have only now become widespread in another part of the world as they gain more wealth. So, ranches have developed under certain environmental conditions which are ecologically marginal types spread over lowlands, hill, plateaus and mountains. Precipitation is generally ranging 25 to 63 centimeter with high spatial and seasonal variability in both total amount and timing. The areas are frequented by droughts, hence the natural vegetation types are only grasses, bushy plants, desert, shrub. These support the grazing animals like cattle, sheep, goats and a few horses. In fact, in some more marginal areas, an ox or a cow can be supported by vegetation of 15 to 30 hectares of land, as in Arizona or similarly areas. Any overstocking and overgrazing can lead to serious wind erosion and land degradation. These precarious areas can be suited to forestry and irrigated farming or the prevailing livestock raising to make their best economic use. As countries are developing, their meat consumption rises sharply due to newfound wealth in the economy. Therefore, we can conjecture that meat consumption in a particular country or region is a reliable indicator of wealth in that geographical area. This explained why developing countries such as China had a sharp rise in meat consumption over the past 40 years due to its rapid economic growth, while consumption in developed countries, although still increasing, has seen slower growth. Another reason why livestock ranching has become more widespread is due to the improved transportation infrastructure. Transportation is playing a very crucial role in this regard. Now even the most remote area in the world have access to most concentrated, I can say, urban markets due to enhanced transport over land and seas. There are different viewpoints as livestock ranching becomes more popular, as countries become wealthier and can begin to afford consuming more meat on regular basis. Many applauded this as evidence that the standard of living in the world is increasing and people are beginning to live more comfortably with more purchasing power, allowing them to indulge in meat and expensive food of that sort. As the demand for meat increases, more of the existing facilities will be relocated for meat production rather than crops or food grains, the main constraint of the diet for the poor. So, instead of using existing grains to feed poor people, they will be used to feed livestock to raise them to be suitable for consumption. So, also ranching, because it was originally a nomadic practice, require vast space. In that areas, the animal graze and feed extensive on the existing agriculture and thus deteriorating the land. Once the area is degraded, the ranchers must move somewhere else to conduct his or her farming activity. In each deteriorated piece of land, use for any other activity such as agriculture for the poor is gone due to its barren nature, and that land is essentially wasted until it can recover, which can take centuries. More developed countries have implemented technology to slow the deterioration process or quicken the revitalization process. However, this technology has not made its way to developing countries yet, where livestock demand is rapidly rising. Livestock ranching is a good indicator of economic prosperity in a nation and provide food and clothing, two of the largest, if not the two biggest commodities in the global marketplace. However, it consumes large amount of physical space and resources, and it's currently growing at unsustainable pace, especially in the developing world. This takes away from the land for crop farming, which is essentially to the diet of the poorest people. It is crucial that you understand livestock ranching and its implications, because it is such an integral part of our lives. It is literally the food that we consume and the clothes that we wear.